Super secret Q&A time, July 2021. Hello everybody, it's your boy. We're back with another super secret Q&A time. This is a Patreon exclusive Q&A segment where I go over all the questions you guys asked me on the Patreon and I will answer all of your questions. I am back in my room once again. We were at the studio last time because I was just happened to be in the studio near the end of the month, but this time around I finally, after 2.5 months, got internet in my house. Fuck you, Japan. Why does it take 2.5 months for internet to come into my house? That just doesn't make sense. So anyway, that's saltiness aside, we're going to go through all the questions. The questions, by the way, are collected from the previous month's Patreon post. So yeah, if you'd like to ask questions and you missed out on the previous month's question, then the Patreon post that you saw to get to this particular video, leave it in the comments below. There are 119 questions this month. So let's just get going. Brian Perez says, are you going to invite KSI to the podcast since he's into shonen anime? I mean, sure. If KSI wants to be on Trash Taste, fucking go for it. If he's in Japan, yeah, sure, why not? But I mean, I don't want to bring him on just because he's into shonen anime. Who's not into shonen anime at this point? Come on, man. Jonathan Malicote says, have you ever read or watched School Rumble? It was the manga that inspired Kaguya-sama. Yes, I have. I watched School Rumble quite a while ago. It's actually called something else in Japanese. It's not called School Rumble. Either way, yes, I did watch it. It's pretty decent. Kevin, hey, I love Yu Yu Hakusho the anime, and I'm currently reading the manga. Like to get your thoughts on the anime if you've watched it. We actually talk about this in a future Trash Taste episode that we've already filmed, but, I mean, it's okay. I mean, some people fucking love it. I don't think it's aged all that well compared to the manga. I mean, I love the manga of Yu Yu Hakusho through and through. It's one of my favorite manga series of all time, so, I mean, you know, definitely give it a go if you like the anime. Sorry, if you like the manga, I'd say give the anime a go. Frogtail says, what anime weapon replica would you hang in your living room, regardless of price or practicality? Well, actually, in our other room, our recording / game room, we have a Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts, which is Arki's technically, and it cost about $2,000. So I guess that counts. I think Keyblades are cool. Timur Safian says, have you heard about the manga Koi shita no de haishin shite mita? It's a harem rom-com, but this time the gimmick is they are all live streamers who don't want anyone to find out. Oh, I've never heard of that actually. That sounds very recent. I don't know why. That's definitely like a recent series, but yeah, I mean, sounds cool. I'll definitely check it out if I can find it. James Leonard says, favorite anime / anime related game of all time. Ooh, favorite anime game? I mean, does Persona 5 count? Or any other Persona games count? Is that anime? Or is that just like an anime-esque game? I don't know. If we're not including Persona 5, then I would have to say probably Jump Ultimate Stars on DS. Basically, it's like Smash Brothers using Shonen Jump characters. It's fucking dope. Yami Hotoke says, Eastern Dragons or Western Dragons? Also, any recommendations for J-rappers? I mean, just dragons in general are kind of cool, aren't they? I mean, I think you mean like Eastern Dragons is like the more traditionalist dragons, and then Western Dragons like, you know, like fucking How to Raise a Dragon level dragons. I don't know, they're both cute. I'd probably say Eastern Dragons just because the history behind it is kind of dope, especially the Chinese dragons. They're dope as fuck. Also, any recommendations for J-rappers? God, I'm trying to remember. Buddha Brand is probably one of my favorite groups from like the early 90s. What else is there? Everspeeds is pretty good. Yeah, there's a couple of cool underground J-rappers out there. Jake Honigford says, hey Joey, I know anime has been hard for you to keep up with. Yeah, don't remind me. But I was always wanting your serious thoughts on Megalobox and if you've seen the new season Nomad. As a 6'3", 283 pound man, I cried a lot from it. 10 out of 10 for me, and I don't give those out often. I've seen the first Megalobox, really enjoyed it. I haven't seen Nomad yet. I've heard Nomad is even better. I mean, apparently you are a massive boy who cried and gave it a 10 out of 10, so I guess that's saying something, Jake. But yeah, I haven't seen Nomad. Again, I've heard really good things about it. The first season, that was fucking brilliant, and and as you said, it's just kind of been hard to keep up with, but I'll get to it one day. Screaming Cannibal says, what's your honest opinion on One Piece? Have you continued reading it? I'm learning Japanese, and as someone unable to go to Japan, what would you recommend would be a good way to learn it? I'm also very much into linguistics, and I was wondering if you had any material I could read up on about Japanese linguistics. Yeah, I know you, Dreaming. You come to my streams quite often. My honest thoughts on One Piece, there's a fly in my room. I fucking love it. I actually, just today, I actually did a quick little stream just to see if the internet worked in our new place, and it did. And I kind of went off about how much I fucking love One Piece for about an hour. One Piece is one of those series where it's like, until you get me to start talking about One Piece, I don't realize I'm actually a massive One Piece fan, if that makes sense. But yeah, I fucking love One Piece. I haven't continued reading it. I've stopped at Punk Hazard, but I'm hopefully wanting to continue it, because I've heard Dressrosa is really, really good. Well, it'll be a good way to learn Japanese if I'm unable to go to Japan. Ooh, I guess just like consume a shitload of media is really the only way I can think about it. Listen to Japanese music, watch Japanese TV, watch J-dramas, watch anime, read manga, anything like that. And in concerning linguistics, I don't know of any good material to read up on about linguistics, because I kind of taught myself Japanese linguistics just based on my, the fact that I have a back knowledge of the fluency of the language. So I don't know. I'm kind of the wrong person to ask. Sorry about that. But hopefully all your other questions are answered. Animated22 says, "Hi Joey, are there certain older, maybe out of print manga series that you want to read or just want to own for your collection that are hard to find, or do secondhand bookstores in Japan pretty much have everything if you're willing to look in a few different stores? I just happened to get all 10 volumes of Asobi Nikuyo, Let's Go Play in Japanese. It's actually called Cat Planet Cuties in English, which is the worst fucking name possible. And I just wanted to have in my collection, even though I can't read Japanese, but I just love the series overall. Japan is pretty fucking good at preserving old things, not just books, like just buildings, culture. They love the tradition, maintaining tradition. I mean, that's why you have amazing places like Kyoto, for instance, yeah, I don't know of, I mean, even like the older ones, like for example, the oldest manga series I personally own is a series called Hinotori, made by Tezuka Osamu, who's known as the grandfather of manga. It's a series from like the 60s or 70s, I think. Fucking amazing manga, by the way. I definitely want to make a video on it one day. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty hard to find, but still possible to find secondhand. So you won't find it in like new bookstores. Like, you can't buy it new, obviously, but if you look hard enough online or in like really small cramped bookstores, secondhand, you can pretty much find most books, unless it's like, unless they somehow like collected all possible copies of this one particular series and destroyed it in, some regard or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they like ET NES, ET Atari that shit, where they just like buried it in a desert or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty easy to find, I think. Well, not easy, but it's definitely possible. John McKenna, can you give us an epilogue on the Trash Taste PC build stream? Are the PCs still being used? Did anybody have to make post-stream fixes? How much does the 3090 make a difference from what you've seen? Well, the PCs are still being used. They're all in the office, working fine. I pretty much just had to do a couple of like wire fixes, and I think Gart and Connor did as well, just like kind of fixing up wires and stuff like that. Other than that though, it's pretty fucking nice. The 3090s work good, I assume, if I play high-end games, which I don't. I play Pokemon and Minecraft, so yeah. Really putting my 3090 to the test. But I mean, I've seen Connor play Apex on it a couple of times. He says it's awesome, so I'll take his word for it. Antonio Vasquez says, "What are you most excited for when Chainsaw Man anime drops? I'm looking forward to a certain female character introduced in Chapter 40. I know exactly who you mean." Well, I don't know. I just really hope it kind of shines a light on an otherwise very manga-centric series. Like, I feel Fujimoto Tatsuki's stuff has been... look, I've been a fan of Fujimoto Tatsuki's stuff ever since Fire Punch, alright, which is the first manga he did. And I was constantly reading, I was keeping up to date with Chainsaw Man as it was serializing. So, like, I don't know, people think that, like, I kind of came out of the blue about liking Chainsaw Man. It's like, oh, you're just jumping on a trend. No, I've loved Fujimoto Tatsuki ever since the very beginning. I think he's a fucking brilliant author, and his one-shot recently, I mean, I talked about it in the monthly otaku, obviously, but yeah, it's fantastic. And I don't know, I'm just hoping that Mappa just kills it. Or is it Madhouse? Mappa or Mappa? No, it's Mappa, right? Yeah. I just hope they kill it, and I hope more people can talk about it, because I feel like not enough people know about this series. Austin L096 says, "Godoubu no Hanayo no game wa shimashita ka?" Have I played the Quintessential Quintuplets game? I didn't even know a Quintessential Quintuplets game existed, so thank you for notifying me on that. Anorexia Renomus says, "If you could get an anime novel based on you and Aki's daily life, who would you want to make it? And if possible, ask Aki, but anyway, have a great day." Thank you. Oh god, I don't know. Maybe someone that's like really good at like daily life stuff, like, I don't know, Arai Keiichi, the creator of Nichijou, might be cool. Azuma... what's his name? Azuma Kiyohiko, I think, is the guy who made Azumanga Daioh and Yotsubato. I mean, he's kind of the master of like slice of life manga, stuff like that. The author of I forgot their name. The author of Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, Girl's Last Tour. I forgot her name. Her art would be fucking dope as well. Yeah, any of those I think would be really cute. Christy Phillips says, I'm curious, since you seem to like Higurashi, have you played the Higurashi or Umineko novels? If so, what's your take on them? Yes, I have played the Higurashi novel. I had not played the Umineko novel. I've only watched the anime for it. But Higurashi, there was a point where I really got into Higurashi. Like, I obviously watched the anime, that's how I got into it. And then I went back, read the manga, really loved that. And then I realized it was originally a visual novel, so I played the visual novel. I would definitely say the manga is probably the best adaptation of it. The anime is good. The original anime is good. I haven't seen the new remake. But the original anime, like Studio Dean did, really freaking solid. But man, the manga, some of the, like the Watanagashi arc in the manga, that artist is fucking brilliant. It is so fucking scary. Like, infinitely scarier than the anime. So, if you want to, like, check it out, please go read the manga for Higurashi. It is terrifying. Peppermint says, what cancelled manga would you like to see revived or rebooted? I personally would love to see my first manga, Siren, completed or rebooted. Hell yeah. I'd love to see Siren. You know what I would want? It wasn't so much cancelled as it was, like, kind of rushed, but I would have liked to have seen a proper ending of Bleach. I mean, you know, as much as I didn't really kind of, like, care so much about Bleach, especially in the second half, especially after the Aizen arc, I very much dropped it, and I kind of came back on and off. But, you know, I think for as big of a series it is, and as much of a cultural impact it made, especially in the Western side, but, you know, definitely on the Japanese side as well, I think it just, you know, it kind of just got done dirty, I feel. Even if it was almost close to getting cancelled, just, like, you know, give Kubo Taito some credit and just, you know, let him finish a modern classic, alright? Just let him finish a modern classic, a series that a lot of people grew up with, especially people around our age, right? It's a big manga series, and it kind of just got brushed to the side, you know, unfortunately. So, yeah, I think it would have been cool to just, like, get a proper ending of Bleach. Jenna Shotka says, in many of your doujinshi-based videos, you bring up your love for Shindo L. What are your overall thoughts on TSF Monogatari? Additionally, if you have never checked out Dibi, I would 100% recommend his work. I'm not too sure if I know Dibi. But my overall thoughts on TSF Monogatari. I actually own the physical manga for it, so I think that's telling of the fact that, yes, I think it's kind of dope. Max says, with the Too Much Volcano song hitting number 14 on the iTunes charts, thank you by the way, and in some countries hitting between number 1 and number 5 in the iTunes alternative charts, what do you think made it that it was so successful? I just think you guys are really fucking dope in supporting Chris and me and Natsuki. Like, I mean, to be fair, that song came out infinitely better than I think any of us thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be super fucking cringy, and I was ready for the hate comments, but it turned out really fucking well. You know, the video was super fun to make, the song was fun to make, we all had a fun time, and you guys had a fun time, and just, you know, like, I was like, Chris, I remember, messaged me and was like, I'm thinking to put it on iTunes, but I don't know if it's worth it. I'm like, nah, dude, you should do it. You should do it. People will buy it. And, good thing we went through with it, because goddamn. Spazimir Trickkolv says, hey Australian man, it's me, Bulgarian man. What's up? Sorry for this. Anyway, I recently watched Beastars, and by the time of the next Q&A, I'll complete Season 2. My question is, are there similar anime to Beastars and such that you would recommend? Also, Chainsaw Man, hope! I don't know if there are any anime that are similar to Beastars, and I think that's what makes it brilliant, is that it really is very much unique. It really is, like, kind of on its own. It's standing up on its own. Like, you know, people always say, like, oh, Beastars is just anime Zootopia. And I'm like, yeah, it is, but, you know, we haven't really seen anything like that in the anime world, to be fair. And especially told from a much, much raw and gritty perspective that Disney could ever fucking do it in. So, or Pixar, I think. Is it Disney or Pixar? I don't even remember. But Zootopia could never go as raw and hard as Beastars did. So, that's what I really appreciate about it. I mean, you know, if Itagaki Paru's dad, who's Itagaki Keisuke, is also a manga artist. In fact, he's a legend because he created Baki. So if you like to support Itagaki Paru, maybe go support her dad's work. Baki is fantastic. Mara MM says, are you caught up to the One Piece manga? If not, do you plan on continuing to read it? Yes, I'm definitely continuing to read it. Liam Rose, have you seen Hajime no Ippon? Did you like it? I did. Not finished it, obviously, because it's like 1,000,000 chapters long, but from what I have seen, yeah, it's pretty goddamn good. Magnus Björbuck, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Who do you think is the best girl from Kiss Sis? Personally, I'm really into Yuzuki Kiryu, the teacher. Kiryu Sensei is a very, it's definitely a winner. Yeah, I probably have to say Kiryu Sensei as well. She's fucking cute. Anthony Valdez says, hey Joey, what's your vocal range? Not very good, because I taught myself to sing. I don't have any vocal training whatsoever. I'm trying to get better, though. I'm trying to get better. But, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to teach. Especially, you know, when you're trying to make videos and stuff like that at the same time as well. Ravel says, do you like playing arcade rhythm games? If so, which one? Yes, I fucking love arcade rhythm games. U-Beat, Beat Saber, not Beat Saber, sorry, Groove Coaster, and, what is Nostalgia, I think it's called, the piano one. Oh, and Waka. They were all really fucking fun. Yeah, I think all of those. Super, super fun. Ella now says, would you ever bring Jacob from Faku onto Trash Days or After Dark? So, for those of you who don't know Jacob, he's a good friend of mine, and he's the CEO of Faku, everyone's favorite website. I don't know, man, if he's in Japan, and if the boys are okay with it, yeah, maybe. John Smith says, do you know any shows with the same vibe as Higurashi? I've been searching. I just like the way the suspense is executed. Watch Umineko. It's done by the same guy, Yuki Shio 7. He's fucking awesome. Corbin Megia, what conventions are you looking forward to the most once the borders open everywhere? Probably Anime Expo, just because Anime Expo is that one con that all of my friends gather to, and we just kind of hang out, and it's fucking great, and yeah. It's the only reason I would ever go to LA, is for Anime Expo and to see my friends. No offense, LA. Darfall says, out of all the weapons in Akamega Kill, what would you rock and what you think the boys would rock? I would rock the weapon that doesn't get me killed. Lol. David Granado says, hey Joey, you mentioned in one of your videos that you play piano, and I just want to know what piano you have and what you usually play. Thank you for all the great videos, and it gives me a reason to keep going. Thank you, David. Well, my piano is right there. It is a Casio upright piano. Well, electric upright piano. Back at my parents' place when I was first learning piano, I had a Yamaha upright piano, non-electric, acoustic. And what do I usually play? Mostly just songs I write. Yeah, it's mostly I mostly just use it to write music and just kind of mess around with chords and tunes and all that kind of stuff. Dorota King says, I've been dying to ask this. I'm a hard lover of the romance comedy / slice of life anime. Would you be able to make a list I can fall into? I've watched things like Uzaki Wants to Hang Out and Chibi Vampire. Anything not mainstream. Thank you, and please keep uploading. No worries. Romance comedy / slice of life. I would probably have to say any of like the PA Works originals would be pretty good. They're pretty wholesome and fun, but with like a little bit of drama and stuff like that as well. So like Hanasaku Iroha is really good. The what's the face, Nagi no Asukara is pretty good. Yeah, any of those would be really nice. Maybe look into some PA Works originals. Modelgio 360 says, have you read 4 Cut Hero? No, I have not. But you've left me the link for it, so I'll probably check it out. Yuki Tachibana says, I personally want to know what's your opinion on the music in the anime Nana. I thought it was phenomenal, and it really made me appreciate the message behind certain songs. Thank you, and have a great day. I personally loved it a lot as well, and it's awesome because Nana is one of those shows that, even in the manga format, it's brilliant. And as you know, manga is paper, which means there's no music attached to it, and it's still brilliant, so that's how good Nana was, and with the music, it's even better. Gregory Perez says, will you do more Japanese teaching on your Twitch? Also, I just started a new band and was wondering if you have any advice. Yeah, I definitely want to do more Japanese teaching on Twitch, because that was really, really fun. And you just started a new band, was wondering if you have any advice? I don't know, man. Just make sure that everyone in the band is, if you're writing original music in your band, just make sure that everyone in the band is into the same type of music and wants to make the same type of music, because that's a lot of the reasons why a lot of bands fall apart. Thomas says, why are there no animated hentai parodies? There are plenty of doujins. The closest I've seen is Princess Lover, but the hentai and anime were both based off a game. The anime wasn't the inspiration. You know what? I haven't really delved into that side of things that deep to even consider a question like that. So I'll probably look into that. Puffsy Games says, have you ever played any of the Devil May Cry games? If you haven't, you should give them a try. They are very anime-like and have a lot of over-the-top action while being really enjoyable to play. I haven't actually. I've seen someone I've watched someone play what was the one with Dante? Devil May Cry 3, right? I think is the one with Dante. Dante's Inferno. Yeah, I think it's Devil May Cry 3. I've watched someone play that game, but I've never actually played it myself. Yeah, I've always wanted to try it out because it looks super fun. Jonathan Ed, is there any videos you regret or hate doing? There's a lot of videos I regret making, but a lot of those I have also privated. So, yeah. You'll never be able to see them. Ellie Lee, hey Joey, thanks for answering my question last month, no worries. What do you think of Masamune-kun's Revenge? I personally think the first half is okay, but the second half was bad because they introduced an annoying character that was just there for the MC to deal with and nothing else. I 100% agree. I think the first half was pretty decent. I think I dropped it after episode 4 or 5, which is roughly around halfway. There was something about it that made me drop it. I forgot what it was, but it just completely... It might have been the introduction of the character that you speak of, but it just completely ruined the flow of a decent rom-com story. And just made it really fucking generic and boring and just like cliche as shit. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a missed opportunity. So yeah, I 100% agree with you though on that aspect. Andrew Orr says, "Hi Joey, is there any isekai that you would recommend? I love the genre, but not sure where to start finding the nice shows being watching a lot of random isekai, but they can be boring." New Patreon, by the way, thanks for the content. Thanks for joining the Patreon. I would say the best isekai that I ever watched was Log Horizon. I think it is an absolutely brilliant isekai that always gets overshadowed by other isekai series that are way too fucking generic and just a power fantasy. I would also recommend, you know, maybe... Yeah, you know what? Log Horizon is probably the only one I recommend. Dylan Scott, hi Joey, what do you think of the Prison School anime/manga? The way it managed to build up so much tension over the most mundane of activities was just amazing. Plus, it was fucking hilarious. I agree, Dylan. I thought Prison School is fucking hilarious. I'd never actually read the manga. I only watched the anime. And I heard that... I heard the manga had a very questionably shitty ending, unfortunately. So I'm kind of glad I watched just the anime. But yeah, I thought Prison School was brilliant. It's just that, you know, very obscure kind of what is it? A satirical type of comedy that's like over the top. Yeah, it was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious. Figamu says, "Hey Joey, I was wondering what your opinion on Haibane Renmei are. It's made by the same people as Lane, so it seems right up your lane. If you haven't watched it, then take this as a recommendation." Oh, don't worry. I've seen Haibane Renmei and I've read Haibane Renmei. It's you know, anything by Yoshitoshi Abe I fucking love. Brumakian Productions says, "Have you watched/read the Towaru Index and Railgun light novel/manga/anime? Too many slashes in that question. If so, what do you think of each?" So I have read the light novel of Index, and I have watched the anime of Index and Railgun. Pretty decent. Pretty good. I think the Railgun anime might have been my favorite. Just because, you know, I just think it was better action and just more interesting characters. Yeah, but, you know, it was good. It was solid mid-2000s light novel adaptation, I think. Paul Fang, I just finished watching Rainbow Nisha Rokubo no Shichin. What are your thoughts on it? Rainbow is a, oh man, you know what? I can't really give too much of an opinion on Rainbow because it's been so goddamn long since I've watched it. I feel like I need to rewatch it, to be honest. I feel like I need to go back and just kind of watch or rewatch old shows that I remember being really fucking good. So, yeah. Thanks for reminding me about Rainbow. I'm probably going to go check it out. Frankie Ennis says, "I watched Oldboy after you mentioned it on TT. It was fucking amazing." I don't think it was me who mentioned Oldboy. I think it might have been Gant. But anyway, yeah. Do you have any other films similar to recommend? Well, I would hold on to that a little bit because, yeah, we might be talking about it in a future podcast episode. Wink, wink. TPO_flying says, "Thoughts on Hajime Ippo?" It's pretty good. Alvin Law says, "Hi Joey, there has been a lot of new and or underrated voice actors/actresses out there. Would you ever consider interviewing more voice actors in the future for your videos? Also, amongst these two, do you like more? Tadokoro Azusa or Kusumoto Tomori? Both really underrated in my opinion." Yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying to get more interviews with some voice actors. The thing is, the voice acting thing is there's like a lot of like social politics that go on behind that shit, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to try and organize, unfortunately. So it's not so much my problem. It's the voice acting industry's problem and the Japanese entertainment industry's problem. Trust me, it's a fucking bitch to work. I personally don't recognize either voice actors you mentioned there. I'm sure if you gave me a list of some of the roles they did, I probably could, but just from the names, not really sure, sorry. Morbid Rainbow says, if you could choose what to do on the next Trash Taste special, what would you guys be doing? I love the chemistry you guys have. Well, I don't want to give spoilers away, but we have actually already filmed the next special, and we are planning the next one already. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to both of those, by the way. I think that's going to be fucking dope once they're done, hopefully. It's going to take a while, but once they're done, hopefully, it'll be solid. ONSK says, wondering if you've seen any of the recent hentai that are based off TL manga more geared towards females from Anime Festa, and your thoughts. Right now, it's just one channel with all the shows from pretty new studios, but do you think more hentai geared towards women would be made from other studios or not anytime soon? Here's a link to the shows made / greenlit if you haven't seen any. The perspectives you get is quite different from most hentai. I haven't, to be honest. I mean, I haven't really looked. I'm not really caught up to date on recent hentai or anything. I mean, I'm barely caught up to date on anime, let alone hentai. You kidding me? But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, you gave me the link to it, so I'll definitely check it out and give your thoughts on it. Rhythmic Josu says, plans on coming to any anime conventions in Singapore? If so, when would it be most likely? Well, see, here's the thing. I feel like I've mentioned this in a previous monthly type collection, but I'm not the one that decides which conventions to go to. It's the convention side to decide if they even want to invite me. So if you want me at a convention in Singapore, contact your local con, ask them, hey, can you bring the Anime Man over for your next convention? And if I get the invite and it works with my schedule, I'll go to Singapore. I mean, I've been to Comic Fiesta Asia, CFA, I think, in Singapore about 4 years ago, something like that. It was pretty dope. That was a really cool con. So yeah, I mean, if they want to invite me again, hell yeah, dude. GameSlayer 500,000. That's a lot of zeros. Have you read or watched Fumetsu no Anata? If you have, what are your thoughts on it? Personally speaking, it's one of the best anime I've seen in 2021 with a really unique concept. This is maybe my 6th or 7th anime that made me very emotional. P.S. You the best. Oh, thank you. I have not, and I've heard so many amazing things about it. I mean, from the little that I did see when during the What Will I Be Watching for the month or the season before it got delayed because of COVID, I gave it a lot of praises already just from how it sounded and how unique it sounded and stuff like that. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people really ended up enjoying it. I definitely do want to watch it though, yeah, because I think it looks great. Tefereth says, have you heard of the manga Boku no Kiseki? It's a masterfully done character drama mystery that I think you would enjoy quite a bit. It's a shame that it seems to be very unknown even in the Japanese manga community, so I hope to shed a bit of light on this series. I have not actually heard about it. Boku no Kiseki, Our Miracle, I think. Yeah, sounds dope. Definitely want to check it out. AZ Edwin says, hey Joey, when I wrote this, the Wonder Egg Priority Special came out, so what do you think? And do you have any actual good anime or manga with a magical girl to recommend? Thank you. Well, we talked about it in the previous podcast episode this month, so yeah. I mean, go check that out if you want. Is there any good anime or manga with a magical girl in it? Well, yeah, Madoka Magica is one of the greatest magical girl anime probably ever made. I mean, it basically started the whole edgy, dark, magical girl trend, right? And I mean, you know, if you want to count it, Sailor Moon is also technically a magical girl, and it's a fucking classic for a good reason. Davichi Hunter says, have you watched Binan Koko Chikyu Boe Burabu? No, I have not, but that title sounds intense. Brett Thomas, who's the best girl from Persona 5 Royal? And I guess best boy as well, for that matter. Well, best boy is always going to be Ryuji. My fucking boy. Best girl from Persona 5 Royal, probably still Makoto. I think just Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, Makoto's still best girl, come on now. Lucas Sareva says, could you recommend some similar artists to Nujabes? Keep up the awesome work. Yeah, Fat John, Replus is also really good as well. Nitsuwa is also really good. Those are all pretty good. Faisal says, Joey, do you know where I can find or request old manga in English, specifically Dodge Dump Bear? Also, have you ever thought about making a video/series about the differences between anime fandoms, e.g. what shows they grew up on, good/cursed dubs, based on regions like the Middle East with Spacetoon, the US with Toonami and 4Kids, and compare with the Japanese fandom for reference. P.S. Happy anniversary. By the way, I found a playlist for the Dodge Dump Bear anime on YouTube with Arabic subs. Dodge Dump Bear is a fucking throwback, dude. That was an awesome manga. I don't know, man. Like, it's gonna be hard to do that kind of stuff. I mean, first of all, it's a bit of a niche idea. If I'm being critical of, you know, your suggestions. For one, it's a very niche idea, which I don't think will personally appeal to a lot of people. Also, it'll take a lot of fucking research, like a lot of research. So yeah, personally, I don't know if it's gonna be worth that much. I mean, hey man, you are more than welcome to take that idea and make it your own if you want, to be honest. That's the great thing about YouTube, right? If you have a camera and a voice, you can do that, right? So, hey, why don't you do it, Faisal? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do this idea, which you clearly seem to have a lot more of a knowledge on? I think it will do well if you give it a go. Sutashi, hey Joey, I saw the FCCJ press conference of Trash Taste and they seemed offended about you guys pointing out bad things in Japan. Will this have any effect on filming Trash Taste in Japan? Absolutely fucking not. If there's things about Japan we don't like, we're gonna fucking see it. That's what Trash Taste is all about. Jeremy Lawrence, hey yo, love the content. Your PC build was top tier. Oh, that's a lie, but thank you. So I'm interested in visiting Japan in the far future. Do you have any particular areas / attractions you would recommend? Well, it depends on what you want to see, Jeremy. Do you want to see the city? Go around Tokyo. If you don't want to see the city, go outside of Tokyo. Do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to see the mountains? Do you want to see historical stuff? Do you want to see weeb stuff? Japan has everything, dude. So I guess, like, kind of figure out what you want to see in Japan and then do some Google searches. And there's always going to be at least one place in Japan that has your particular needs. Karen Nakamaki, my very first concert was the last concert tour of ELP and I've seen Carl Palmer pre-COVID. Well, I'm fucking jealous. That wasn't even a question. You just wanted to flex on me, Karen. God damn it. Tip and Toop, hey, have you read / watched Moriarty the Patriot and what are your opinions on it? Also, I made this meme in a crappy editing software in 5 minutes for you since it's answered last month's question with consents on them. Well, thank you. I appreciate the meme. No, I have not. I saw it was kind of getting popular. I thought, alright, yeah, this looks decent. But you know me. I say I'm going to check it out, and I very rarely actually check it out. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Crescentia, what's up? What's the most unusual hentai you've ever seen? And I don't mean shocking stuff like Euphoria. Most unusual hentai? Fuck, I don't know. Probably make a video on it, eh? Yeah, I'll probably do like a top 10 weirdest hentai that I've ever seen and just make it a video. So thanks for the idea. Useless Kazuma, hi Joey. I wanted to know if you listen to a band called Man with a Mission, and if you do, which songs are your favorite? Like a lot. It has slowly become one of my favorite bands. Yes, absolutely, man. Manwisu is fucking awesome. I mean, obviously, you know, Database is a great fucking song. The other one I really like is called, what was it? It was off their self-titled album. It's like the last song on their self-titled album. I forgot the name of it, but that song is fucking dope. Brianna says, hey Joe, I'm planning to go to Tokyo in late October / early November. Are there any must-go-to places you can think of? Also, have you read Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer? Hoshi no Samidare. I've heard of Hoshi no Samidare. I haven't read it. But any places to go to that you can think of? I mean, I don't know, man. Again, it depends on what you want to see in Japan. There's lots of cool places. Like, there's so many places in Japan that I want to go that I still haven't even been to yet. So, yeah. I mean, I haven't even fully explored Tokyo yet, to be fair. And I've been fucking living here for the past 5 years. So, yeah, let's leave it at that. Cyril Tolentino. Hi, Joey. Is there any... is there an anime / manga that you would like to alter its ending / twist so that you will make it a 10 out of 10 on your My Anime list? What and why? No, actually, I do not, because I understand and appreciate the artistic integrity of an artist's choice to take their creativity in certain directions that I may not necessarily agree with. I think that's what makes anime and manga very interesting. So, appreciate the question, but no. I wouldn't change anything. Even no matter how much I fucking hate or despise it, wouldn't change it. Like Yagami, the real one, says, hey Joey, I've been lately starting up my own manga collection. I've been wondering if you had any interest in collecting the One Piece manga. I recall you speaking highly of the series in the past, and I notice a lot of manga collectors have a One Piece collection. I don't want to come off as pushy, because I know it will take up a lot of space, I know from experience, just figured a perspective on the series from a dedicated manga collector would be interesting. I have thought about it, just because it would probably be really good to just, like, you know, be able to keep up with it, because again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I'm quite far behind on One Piece. But, yeah, I mean, as you said, it's like approaching 100 volumes, and I want to use that space, honestly, for other manga. Like, One Piece is one of those shows where it's like, I can just go to a manga cafe to read it, personally. I don't really have to own the collection at all, so yeah, I'm probably not thinking about getting it anytime soon. Jägermeister, if you and the boys were in an anime, who would be the protagonist? Who's the AG superior rival, and which one of you will become a boisterous, strong-willed woman? Well, the protagonist will be Gaunt. The edgy superior rival would probably be Connor, and I guess I'd be the boisterous, strong-willed woman. Hell yeah. Loyal Sermon, hey yo, thank you for answering my last question about where you would want to go. Iceland sounds like such a nice place, and I've heard that they have the best hot springs. Yeah, I know, that's the other reason why I want to go. I was wondering, as a Weebies question, if you would ever attend a Hatsune Miku concert, since I know they do the yearly Magical Mirai in Japan exclusively. Personally, Vocaloid is nice to listen to every once in a while. And if not, would you attend a J-Rock concert once life becomes more normal in the next couple of years? I've been a Nano fan for 4 to 5 years now, and I love her music, so it was nice of you guys to have her on Trash Tears. Yeah, Nano's fucking awesome. I was actually supposed to go to Rock in Japan next month, but it got cancelled because yay COVID and Olympics. I've technically attended a Hatsune Miku concert. I went to one. Well, it wasn't really an exclusive Hatsune Miku concert. It was the Hatsune Miku concert, or like Hatsune Miku producer concert at Tokyo Game Show about 3 years ago. Tokyo Game Show is this massive anime like weeb convention in Japan. Which was fucking dope. I saw a lot of really cool Vocaloid producers doing songs there. So I mean, I guess that counts as that. Never really thought about going to Magical Mirai, but I mean, I definitely want to go to like a rock concert, like a J-Rock concert. Again, Rock in Japan, the lineup this year was fucking stacked, and then they just cancelled it. So I was pretty annoyed about that. But I mean, hopefully they'll get the same lineup next year. And hopefully by then Japan will be somewhat back to normal. William Tosberg says, what do you think of the country known as Sweden? P.S. Sweden is the superior Nordic country. I'm pretty sure that's what all the Nordic countries say about themselves. I've stopped by in Stockholm Airport, but I've never actually gone into Sweden. I mean, I know a lot of Swedish people. Felix is cool. Rumi, Joel is also pretty cool. I like Swedish people. You guys are all very attractive, and I'm very jealous of that. But I'd definitely like to go to Sweden one day. I've heard Sweden is beautiful. Hardy Hawa says, hey Joey, now that you and the boys have moved to the new studio, looks great by the way, has Denny's been replaced by a new restaurant for your pre-record meal? Kind of, but not really. I mean, it'll never be the same. Even if we do happen to find a Denny's nearby, which we haven't yet, the boss man at Denny's will not be the same. It just won't be the same. Nathan Bushy says, have you seen the Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel trilogy yet? And if so, what were your thoughts on it? I actually haven't yet. Just because it's been so long since I watched Fate Zero or Unlimited Blade Works that, like, I feel I'd just get really fucking confused if I started watching Heaven's Feel. Like, I feel like I need to go back, re-watch Zero and Unlimited Blade Works, and then I can go watch Heaven's Feel. But I've heard Heaven's Feel is fucking great. EasyKun, care to share how did Mudan become your editor? And is it pure coincidence that he's the same editor as Connor? Shout out to Mudan's editing skills from me. Absolutely. Well, actually, it is not a pure coincidence. So basically, how it happened was Mudan, originally, he had his own channel. I mean, he still does, Mudan TV. And he was this kind of up-and-coming Anituber. I saw his videos. I just happened to stumble upon his videos. Because I like kind of seeing up-and-coming people in the Anitube community, because, they might end up being the next person to overtake us, right? You never know. So it's always nice to kind of keep an eye out on the growing seeds of the Anitube community. And Mudan was one of those guys, and I thought, holy shit, this guy's editing is in-fucking-sane. Like, I've never seen anyone edit like Mudan has. And he was also a fan of my videos. So I just kind of fell in love with his personality, his editing style, the way he makes his videos, because it was very reminiscent to the kind of humor and style that I like going for as well. So when I asked him, hey, can you, maybe... At that time, I was thinking to get an editor, because Gaunt already had his editor, Alan, for the longest time. And at that time, I was still editing my own videos, and I thought, fuck, I need to get an editor, but I don't know who I can trust with my videos. So I asked Mudan, because I thought, if there's anyone who knows anime, who's in the Anitube community, and kind of gets the same humor as me, and is an infinitely better editor than me, he's the man to go for. So I asked him I think it was about 3 years ago I asked him, 2 or 3 years ago, and he said, yeah, sure. And he's been my editor ever since. And then Connor, I guess, saw the work that, Mudan was putting into my videos, and decided to... basically asked me and said, like, hey, is it okay if I also hire Mudan for my videos? And I was like, well, that's up to Mudan, not me. So and then Mudan became Connor's editor as well. I mean, like, Connor has multiple editors, but he also uses Mudan. I only have Mudan, really. It's Mudan or me for editing my videos. And then when we started Trash Taste, we thought, well, fuck, who's going to edit this? And kind of just looked at each other and thought, Munan's the only guy. So he's an absolute beast. Shout out to fucking Munan, man. He's my boy. And I've hung out with him a couple of times. We like went around Ireland together. We went around Finland together. He's a fucking awesome dude. I love him so much. He's an absolute bro. Douglas Whitaker, after watching your recent video on summer 2021, I disagreed with your take on isekai, so I posted a video to YouTube. The premise is this. Isekai isn't just a genre, it's a setting. Saying that there are too many isekai anime is like saying that there are too many anime that take place in high school. Yes, a lot of high school anime are the same and kind of blend together, but they're not all the same. Last season's The Saint's magic power is omnipotent was actually a josei isekai, with the focus being more on adult work relationships than, ooh, look at my cool cheat abilities. This season's Drugstore in Another World is a fluffy slice of life. What would it take you to convince you to give isekai a try? What it would take for me to give isekai a try is if they actually made something that was somewhat unique. I totally agree with you in that, yes, isekai is not a genre, it is a setting. But that's not what the rest of the world thinks, unfortunately. At this point, I don't even think the industry considers isekai a setting. I think they just created it from a setting to a genre. So, yes, strictly speaking, as you said, yes, isekai is a setting, much like high school is a setting. But at the same time, I can also argue that a lot of high school anime recently have also become redundant and boring because they haven't done anything unique or interesting with that setting whatsoever. So that's why I've also kind of given up on just watching generic high school anime as well, because I feel like once you've seen enough of them, very much like isekai, you've kind of seen them all. You know, the Saint's magic power is omnipotent being a josei isekai with the focus being more on adult work relationships. I mean, again, it's still isekai though. It still kind of takes that cliche RPG element of it, that setting that we're all so familiar with, and is like, we're going to do one little twist on it. And I'm like, you know, I'm sure it might be good. My light just went out. I'm sure it might be good. But, you know, again, it's like, I'd rather watch something actually, you know, somewhat more unique, like Beastars or Castlevania or any of those kinds of shows. And I mean, like, Drugstore in Another World is a fluffy slice of life. It's still an isekai. It's still set in another world. It still uses generic RPG tropes that we've seen over and over and over and over again. It's still boring. Again, it's gotten to that point where it's still the same thing. It's just reskinned. It's just with different art and like one single plot device that is completely different, right? Like, we don't have any just like straight up fantasy anymore. It just doesn't happen. And if we do have it, it's not the shows that are getting viewed. It's all the isekai shows. And that's why I think it's basically become a genre now. It started as a setting, and I still think it is a setting, but the setting has been so outdone now that it's basically turned itself into a genre. And I think the industry has turned itself into a genre. So I definitely get your take, Douglas. But to be honest, man, much like high school anime and much like all of those like very generic run-of-the-mill settings that I've seen over 100 times easily, I'm just sick of it. I'm honestly sick of it. Unless there is an isekai that did what, you know, Madoka Magica did to the magical girl genre, where it completely deconstructs it, completely rebuilds it from the top up in a really interesting, confronting way, I don't think I will give in to any of the isekais. I mean, you know, you say like the Saint's magic power is omnipotent was more interesting or different in the isekai world. Yeah, but it wasn't being talked about, unfortunately. That's not the shows that get viewed. So they're probably not even going to make an isekai like that ever again, to be honest. Let's be real. Until they're just going to keep rehashing the same generic power fantasy isekai light novel adaptations, because that's what the audience is eating up. And to be honest, they're all fucking boring. It's all the fucking same. So, yeah. I mean, look, if you like isekai, man, fucking good for you. You got plenty of shows to watch. For me, though, I'm just gonna try and find something more unique and interesting. Alex Zarate, hey Joey, I love your content. Have you been able to read Kengan Omega, the sequel of Kengan Ashura? If you have, how are you liking it so far? I've never actually even read Kengan Ashura. I've seen little bits of it on Netflix, but I haven't actually finished it at all, so I probably should do that first before I move on to the sequel. Frogtails, has there ever been a moment that you preferred Australia culturally? If so, what was the biggest thing you missed? I guess just like the friendly, I guess the stranger friendliness to it, and just like the kind of relaxed chilled out vibe of Australia, I feel. And like, the people are more chill, just like everything is just more relaxed and open and stuff like that. Yeah, that's definitely something I missed a little bit. Andrew Bellinets, longtime fan, first time patron, love your content, thank you. And happy to show my boy some love. My question is, although you've grown up Japanese and know the language fluently, do you have any tips or suggestions for learning it, or any other languages for that matter? I'd absolutely love to travel there for a vacation to see the sights and the scenery once everything calms down in the world for it to happen. Well, I mean, you kind of answered it yourself. Andrew, in the sense that the best way to learn another language is to live in the language that speaks it and surround yourself with people who can only speak said language. That's honestly the best way to learn it. So just come to Japan, talk to Japanese people, talk to the locals, kind of really live the local life as much as possible. That's the best way to learn the language, in my opinion. Jesse, have you seen the trailer for Star Wars Visions, an anime anthology based on the Star Wars universe? I'm just excited because some well-known studios such as Trigger are producing some episodes. Yeah, I saw it on Twitter, actually. I saw the trailer or the announcement for it on Twitter, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. It's like Animatrix, but Star Wars. So, yeah. I definitely want to check that out because I do quite like Star Wars. I think it was quite cool. David Granados, I've remembered you saying you play piano, and I'm curious as to what you like to play. Example, jazz, classical, OST, etc. And also as to what piano it is. The piano is my favorite instrument. I've been playing it since I was 5, so it made me happy seeing you play it yourself. Thank you, and I love you. Yes, home. Well, again, I have the Casio upright, electric upright. I am classically trained. I played classical piano for 11 years. And then I also learned jazz piano from my then high school music teacher, who used to be a jazz piano session musician. So I'm mostly classical trained. I know a little bit of jazz. I kind of taught it myself and learned it casually. So, once you kind of learn classical and jazz piano, you can pretty much learn and play anything, especially if you know music theory. So yeah, I play all sorts of things. Mostly like OST stuff, I think, and mostly just like my own music, which is like a weird mix between classical, contemporary, and jazz. I think is the only way to describe it. Yeah, the songs I write are weird, but you guys like it, so yeah, I appreciate that. Jedi King 1383 says, "Hi Joe, I got some questions. Feel free to rant, as this annoys me as someone who's watched anime their whole life. Have you noticed the westernization of anime and manga with the surge in popularity? Where do you stand on this? And do you have any manga and anime recommendations which haven't been affected by this? Love your content, by the way. I binge your videos regularly." I have not noticed the westernization of anime and manga because I don't think anime and manga has been westernized. I just think people have found ways to westernize it themselves, but in terms of mangakas and directors and producers making these anime and manga, no, I don't think it is westernized. I personally don't think they give a shit about the West when making anime and manga. Like, it's either the people in the West like this very Japanese thing, or they don't like this Japanese thing. Either way, they're not really making it for Western audience, to be honest. If you're talking about as in, like, people in the West are starting to make anime and manga, like the Crunchyroll originals and stuff like that. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest, because they're not really the shows that get viewed or talked about the most anyway, so it's like, kind of you do you, boo-boo type of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I get, like, I can see why you would find that annoying if you kind of see anime and manga going towards that direction, but I mean, at the end of the day, I can tell you firsthand, knowing about this, talking to people in the industry, they don't give a shit about the West, man. They just make it and the West consumes it and likes it. That's it. Madeline Lucas, favorite Mars Volta track and album? Oh, that's a hard question. My favorite album is Mechamputexture, I think. Yeah, it's either Mechamputexture or Francis the Mute. Two of my favorite albums. My favorite song is either Cassandra Gemini from Francis the Mute or Tetragrammaton from Mechamputexture. Yeah, those two are really fucking good. Really Big Jozu, do you watch Hololive? If so, which VTubers do you like the most? Hope I can meet you someday and get an autograph or something like that. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I still do watch Hololive every now and then. I watch Sencho. Hoshou Mari, I watch Korone, I watch Okayu. Those are probably like the top 3 I watch. But recently I've been actually watching a lot of Niji Sanji VTubers. Inui Toko, Rize Heresta, Joe Rikichi. Like, there's a lot of really good and really fucking funny and entertaining Nijisanji VTubers out there as well. So I would personally recommend that. Wes Lee says, what are some of your top rom-com anime? Oh man, there's a lot of fucking good rom-com anime. I feel every month on the Monthly Otaku Collection, I am recommending at least one rom-com anime in some regard, like harem rom-com anime. I mean, so if you're interested, go back and watch all the Monthly Otaku Collections, because I personally can't think of one off the top of my head. Bladax, hi Joey, what is your opinion on the anime Eureka 7, particularly how Renton and Erika's relationship developed throughout the anime? I thought it was brilliant. I fucking love Eureka 7. Haven't watched it in a long time, I just remember really enjoying it. Finn Cole, hello, Pokemon is pretty great. It is. So if you could choose, what type gym leader would you be and what would your team look like? And if you want to, what would Aki's Gaunt and Connor's Monkey Brain look like? Okay, thanks. I probably would like, oh god, that's hard. I would probably go for Fire type, just because I really like Fire types. I would have like Charizard, Arcanine, you know, maybe Rapidash, Solrock. Yeah, any of those would be really fucking cool. Karina says, hello Joey, I've been watching your videos for many years now and I love your content. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. I want to ask, what countries are on your bucket list to travel to and why? What has been your favorite country that you've traveled to so far? Well, my top country to visit after the pandemic ends, for me personally, is Iceland. I really fucking want to go to Iceland. I've heard that's such a cool country. And my favorite country I've traveled to so far, ooh, I mean, if we're not including Australia and America, because that's where Aki and I are from, probably Ireland. We really, Aki and I both fucking love Ireland. Like, Irish people are so fucking cool. Ireland just in general is just a really neat, beautiful country. Yeah, I definitely say Ireland. Alex H, do you cook much at home? And if so, what are some of your favorite dishes to make? I don't cook at all, but I do know how to cook a pretty good pasta. Because it's super fucking easy and almost impossible to fuck up. Kevin says, one question for now, I have more for the future. Would you consider making another video on Nintendo World when Kirby gets added? Kirby is adorable and I think it would be cool to see that video. Abso-fucking-lutely. Kirby's my favorite Nintendo character ever, so if they decide to add Kirby shit, hell yeah, I'm going there. Darren Morian, does Joey ever answer questions from his Patreon or is it Twitter exclusive? Well, considering you are in this video, I answer from Patreon. Mr. Miyagi says, I've been thinking about moving away from real porn and start getting into the world of hentai. What sites do you recommend to consume hentai? Just Google, I guess. Genova's Wolf says, hey Joe, when COVID finally starts to die out, I'm planning to go back to Japan for a couple of weeks. So my question is, do you know any good bars and restaurants to visit with good ambiance and don't require perfect Japanese? Because I can understand and speak a little, but can't read shit. Also, would invite you and the boys if you want to tag along for free food, but I can understand no, because, yeah, it would be kind of awkward and creepy. I mean, you know, anyway, if you're in central Tokyo, there's a lot of good bars and restaurants that accept foreigners. So yeah, anywhere like that is really nice. Lex says, hey Joe, I have a figurine collection question, alright? Currently my figure collection contains 99% male characters, and I do love them all as they are my favorite characters. However, I recently got enticed into the thought of buying female character figurines for cultural reasons. Hell yeah, dude. They all look real good as well. However, I do not feel enough attachment to the female character to hit that buy button, as I have not read or watched their manga or anime yet. Wish to ask you if you have ever bought figurines that you have not read or watched their manga or anime yet. I watched your $10,000 collection opening for like 4 times, looking forward to a new video of your collection, if there has been many additional to your collection since then. There definitely has been additional stuff because whenever I do a monthly giveaway for the Monthly Otaku Collection, I actually get 2 from Tokyo Otaku Mode. So I don't actually get paid to do the Tokyo Otaku Mode figurine giveaways. Instead, what I do is I get paid in the figure that I'm giving away. So I actually get 2 of the same figurine. So this month, you know, I'm giving away the Ryza, the Atelier Ryza figurine. I actually get 2 in the post. One for me to give away, that I show you guys the one in box that I sign and send back to Tokyo Otaku Mode to give away to one of you guys, and the other one I get to keep. So basically, every single figurine that you've seen me give away in my Tokyo Otaku Mode giveaways for the Monthly Otaku Collection, I also own one of them as well. And I choose those figurines, not gonna lie, personally because I just really want them. But, you know, the good thing is that, like, I personally haven't bought a figurine in a very long time because of that. And, you know, I don't really feel guilty about that because I get to give away a figurine to one of you guys, right? It's like, hell the fuck yeah, dude. So, yeah, But all of them are either series that I enjoy or a series that I have some kind of attachment to. So yeah, I think it's better to buy a figurine of a series that you are attached to. I think that just makes more sense. Jay Prashad, hey Joey, it's been 5 years since I started watching your videos and your content is getting better. Keep it up, man. Thank you, dude. So here's my question. Once this COVID pandemic is over, is Malaysia in the list of countries you're gonna visit? Yeah, actually, because I have a lot of Malaysian friends who live in Japan and they all really want to take me to Malaysia. And I've never been to Malaysia. I just really want to, like, kind of go travel more in Southeast Asia. I think it's like, it feels like a missed opportunity because I'm in Asia. Like, Malaysia is so fucking close to me, especially compared to like Europe or America, right? So I definitely do want to go travel more around Southeast Asia because I feel I haven't really gone around there a lot. And you know, Malaysia's up there, definitely in the top of the list, just because again, it's a Southeast Asian country I've never been to, and I have a lot of like local friends from there as well who can take me around. So yeah, definitely Malaysia is on that list. Sunny Lockett says, "Hey Joe, I have a few questions from Down Under." Okay. First of all, you said in one Trash Taste episode, somebody please make the Gacha Police a real thing. So is it okay if I make a real life Gacha Police as a joke? Hell yeah, dude, absolutely do it. Also, I want to make otaku related videos, but a few of my friends hate anime. Should I do videos they want or ones I really want? Definitely do ones that you want to do. Fuck your friends, man. Like, I did that exact same thing as well. I made videos I wanted to make, so you make videos you want to make as well. Absolutely. Go for your own heart. Go for what you enjoy making. 100%. Thevas says, "Hi Joey man. Joey man? You read my name flawlessly last time. No pressure." Shit. Did I? I think it's Thevas, right? Thevas? Correct me if I'm wrong. "Thank you for the tips on the script writing / drafting. My next bump in the road is my perfectionist mindset. Do you experience the same? I seem to have a difficult time not looking at numbers, and I always aim for the biggest content creators when I look at people I want to meet / collab with. All this is obviously way out of my reach, especially considering a level of entry is so much higher nowadays. How is or was this for you?" I mean, I personally don't really have a perfectionist mindset in any way. I'm definitely more of just like a good enough type of guy. I mean, I try to get it as best as I can, but I also have to, you know, definitely stop myself from having that perfectionist mindset, because otherwise nothing gets done, right? And at the end of the day, something's got to give, right, in order to get something out there. So, you know, just try and get to like as close to perfect as possible, but not perfect, because you're never going to get it perfect, trust me. You might think you made the most perfect fucking video, you watch back on it after a year and you wish you never uploaded in the first place, right? So it's like you're always constantly growing and developing skills and mindsets and stuff like that, so you're never going to get to that perfect point. And in terms of content creators to meet and collab with, I never really have ever, even to this day, like ever really looked at numbers all that often. For me, it's more just like, it's not so much about the numbers for me, it's more so just like, if I like you and we can get along, you know, kind of thing. I mean, you know, it's hard for me to sound convincing in that point because I know a lot of very, very, very big content creators who I've had the absolute privilege of being able to call my friends. But you know, it's not like I'm constantly on the lookout to collab with, you know, PewDiePie or MrBeast or Jacksepticeye all the time. You know, it's like, it's kind of just like, you know, they're just friends who happen to have big numbers, but they're no more my friends than, you know, like some of my best friends on YouTube don't even make YouTube videos anymore, right? Like, so it's, for me, the numbers have never mattered, and I definitely don't think it's something that should matter for you as well. I think it's just something that you should be aware of, but not something that you should focus on, because I feel you won't be able to make genuine friends in that way. Hijinx says, "I love puns. I recently read online that Brook from One Piece 45-degree joke can be read in Japanese as Shigo, a literal translation of 4 and 5, which means after death. Is this true? Do you have a kanji or other Japanese pun that always makes you happy?" I didn't know about that, but I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. So I guess it is a pun. I can't really think of a kanji or Japanese pun off the top of my head. I mean, you know, that's one of the big reasons why I love Inio Asano. Oh, not Inio Asano, sorry. Nishio Ishin. Because he loves Japanese puns and using kanji in punny ways. And, you know, the fact that he can, like, perfectly incorporate that into stories is fucking brilliant. So, yeah. I mean, anything, you know, any like witty one-liners by Nishio Ishin, I fucking love. Michael W says, "Hey yo, Joey, at the moment I'm planning a Japan trip for May 2022. There are plenty of things to do in Tokyo, obviously, but somehow I haven't managed to find a lot for Osaka. Do you have any recommendations for activities or sightseeing?" I mean, there's lots to do in Osaka. Osaka's like so much good street food. You know, the great thing about Osaka is that, you know, after you go to like Dotonbori and you go to Osaka Keihinkan, which is like or Kaihinkan, which is the big aquarium in Osaka. You can pop on over to like Kyoto or Shiga or Nara, like all these like really cool places that are like less than an hour away by local train, right? It's not even on bullet train, like local train. It's only about an hour away at most. So, you know, that whole western part of Japan is really fucking dope. There's lots of really cool things to do over there. Hundo Smith, "Hey Joe, what do you think about the Sweet Home Live adaptation on Netflix, assuming you've watched it yet?" I haven't watched it yet. I know. People keep reminding me to watch it. I definitely want to watch it. So, once I watch it, I will let you know. Ezra says, "Hey Joey, have you read the Promised Neverland manga? If you have, what are your thoughts on it?" I haven't read the Promised Neverland manga. I mean, I haven't finished it, is what I mean. I caught up to basically a little bit after where season 1 ended. So yeah, and then I watched season 2 and was like, yeah, fuck this. So no, I haven't read the Promised Neverland manga. Hey Lewis, so I may or may not have purchased the whole Grisaya VN series. Are there any similar or totally different VNs that you would recommend? Well, I mean, fuck. Anything by Key Studios, right? Like, you know, Air, Canon, Clannad, Little Busters. Any of those are fucking brilliant. Sin says, "Hey Joey, I know you've mentioned some video games in the past that you've enjoyed. I was wondering if you ever thought about getting into the Final Fantasy series, or if you have. Thank you for all the hard work. I'm loving the content you're doing recently. Final Fantasy is literally a game series that I grew up playing, and it's one of my favorite game series of all time. So yes, I'm very aware of Final Fantasy, don't worry. My favorite Final Fantasy is 6, by the way, and if you say it's 7, you're not a real fan, I'm just saying." Jeremy Ross says, "I guess this is kind of a follow-up to Sin's question. Anyway, have you heard of the Suikoden series? The Final Fantasy series may be more popular, but I honestly prefer the Suikoden series. I love how there's this whole world and history that's been built. You can play as one character in one game, then play as their ancestor or descendant in a later game, depending on when that game takes place. Some characters show up in multiple games. Anyway, a lot of people slept on it, and it's pretty much dropped off the face of the earth. It's impossible to find a copy of any of the games in the main series for under $100. There hasn't been a new main series Suikoden game in 15 years, and to me, that is a shame. They've done re-releases for the Katamaru Damacy games and the older Final Fantasy games. That's great and all, but where the fuck are my Suikoden reissues?" I have heard of Suikoden. I think I've played the first Suikoden. Not to completion, but I think one of my friends owned the first Suikoden games. And I played it. It was pretty good. It was pretty freaking good. I mean, you know, again, as you said in your question, Jeremy, yeah, I mean, I love the Final Fantasy series, so, you know, obviously, it's definitely for the JRPG lovers out there in the world. But yeah, I'm probably going to have to replay some of the Suikoden games to kind of give you a full opinion on it, but it is a shame that it kind of got overshined by Final Fantasy. Hainobara says, "Hey Joey, have you or will you ever read/watch Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation? If not, then please give it a try. I think you might like it. And even if you don't, you might still be able to make some good content out of it." I mean, God has told me that Mushoku Tensei is actually a really good isekai. It looks fucking beautiful. So, you know, one of the few rare times I might actually give an isekai a go. Vincent D'Amico says, "With Iris recently debuting on Hololive EN, I gotta ask, of the 5 initial Hololive EN members, which would you say is your favorite to watch?" Well, obviously Callie, because she's my boy. G59 Dylan says, "Hey Joey, out of all the video game/visual novel based animes out there, which one do you think followed the original story the best?" Ooh, that's a good question. Probably have to say any of the key ones, but I'd say Clannad did a pretty fucking good job of following the good end route of the original visual novel. Low Resistance says, "Who's your favorite JoJolion MILF?" I don't have a favorite JoJolion MILF. Never even thought about that, to be honest. And finally, Gerald Yee says, "This is a question regarding on your previous opinion on Uma Musume being a genius original IP, as evidenced by the release of the game this year and staying on top of the app charts for a long amount of time. PS, also because of the popularity of the game, they have a donation drive that raised 30 million yen for one of its horses. Did its impacts exceed your expectations?" You know what? I completely forgot about the fact I made a video on Uma Musume when the anime came out. I still think it's a genius original IP. And I mean, as you said, it shows. Like, The fucking app is everywhere in Japan. It's insane. I still haven't played it yet because I'm stopping myself from picking up another gacha game. I'm trying so hard to not pick up another gacha game. I made that mistake with Arknights. I don't want to make the same mistake again with Among Us. But I mean, yeah, its impact definitely exceeded my expectations. But as I mentioned in that video, I also can kind of see why it is a really genius, I guess, mix for success. You know, like horse race betting in Japan is so big, and you mix that with waifus, like hell the fuck yeah, it's gonna do well. And I was kind of right. It's doing fucking amazing. So good on the IP holders, I guess. But there you go, guys. That was the end of the super secret Q&A time for July 2021. Thank you to everyone who asked all the questions. Sorry again, this has been a very long video. You guys asked some really interesting questions, and a lot of you are there on the Patreon, so I really appreciate you guys for sticking around. There's going to be a couple of pretty cool Patreon exclusive content coming out within the next couple of months that I hope you guys enjoy. But regardless, if you would like to ask a question on the next Super Secret Q&A time for August 2021, then go back to my Patreon, go to the Patreon post that you clicked to come to this video, and leave them in the comments there. Again, it doesn't matter what tier of the Patreon you are on. You can be at the highest tier or the lowest tier. The Super Secret Q&A time is open to all patrons. So again, if you'd like to ask a question that is just so burning and you want to hear the answer to, because I will answer every question that you guys ask with, obviously, you know, moderation, then yeah, leave them down in the comments of the Patreon post. Lots of banger content has come out this month that I am very, very proud of. The last couple of videos I did were pretty fucking cool, as was evidenced by how much you guys fucking love that videos. So I appreciate all the support, guys, and I will see you all next month.